Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on the second open call. What we want to do today is just highlight the purpose of the program and then which are the major updates from open call 1 to open call 2. With me, there is also Alberto. He is the leader of the acceleration program. If you have any questions, Alberto will be ready to answer. He will present some slides as well. And also Blanca and Mona from the communication team.
Good morning.
Good morning. So
Good morning.
The purpose of these few slides is just to let you know that nothing much has changed in terms of the general goals of the program. Okay, we are still looking, or we keep looking for technological providers that will help fighting the COVID pandemic using AI and machine learning. Okay, the scope did not change in terms of using the COVID Sandbox. So what the program does is provides a technical infrastructure and acceleration program services to help you deliver your solution to fight this pandemic. We have the same set of challenges. Some of them, or one of them was updated, the early detection and prevention was updated to include solutions that tackle vaccination as well. The other ones are pretty much the same. Please be aware that not all of them are open for single solutions. You need to go to the guideline for applicants to actually understand which ones are open for single solutions. All of them are open for team solutions. This is exactly the same, or we are offering exactly the same as we offered in the first program. So financial support, market acceleration program, and the COVID Sandbox. We keep the same funding structure, so single solutions and team solutions. In this round, our goal is to fund 7 team solutions and 7 single solutions. We will, okay, I will go back to this later. Okay, so this is our target for this call. We have the same clinical partners, so Instituto Clínico Humanitas, SERMAS, and Karolinska Institute. They have provided more details on them in the third webinar. So if you want to know more about them, you can just review the webinar and there are more information on them. And for the team players, we keep exactly the same definition. So the healthcare providers can be any type of institution as long as they provide healthcare or to patients. So it can be hospitals, clinics, primary care. So there is a question. I will activate the sound for everyone. So if you do have any questions, feel free to interrupt and just ask them.
Hello.
Otherwise,
Hello, everyone. Yeah,
hello.
I have a question to Alberto. Which clinical site did you cooperate with?
Yeah, so actually, I'm not part of any clinical partner. I'm responsible for the acceleration program, which is more focused on the business development and technological development of your solutions. So we do have 3 clinical partners, although none of them are present today.
Okay, thank you.
Gianluca, you also have your hand raised, so please feel free to.
Yes.
Good morning. Regarding the previous slide and the CE marking, we provide natural language understanding technologies. So we support doctors and clinical research and so on for the final decision. So we structure information, and we don't have the algorithm as a CE marking, because our algorithm doesn't apply decision, supports other guys to facilitate their decision. So considering in the previous slide, it was written only solution with the CE marking or in the process to be certified. Can we participate?
Okay, I have 2 slides on that later, and I will guide you directly to the guideline for applicants. So if you put all your question, I think it will be answered later. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this was the part. So these are the major updates from Open Call 1 to Open Call 2. We now have a two-phase application, which means that you will have to submit a shorter proposal in the first phase. It's sort of a qualification round. And then 21 teams, 21 single solutions and 21 team solutions will be invited to move to the second stage. We have clarified the TRL definitions and CE marking, and more on this in the next slides. And we have strict page limits in the technical annex. Okay, so in relation with, okay, I will go there. So first of all, the two-phase application, it will be open until July 22nd. And what we will do in this phase is provide or perform the eligibility check. So see if you are an SME, you are a clinical partner, and all those administrative checks that are in the guideline for applicants. And then we will have an internal review committee to grade or to assess all the applications. And the feedback will be provided until August 6th. Okay, so in fact, we are committing to have this first evaluation completed in 2 weeks. And then the teams selected for the phase 2, they will have until September 16 to provide a more comprehensive, more detailed proposal, which will then be evaluated by an external review committee. And 14 of these solutions, so 14 single solutions and 14 single solutions, team and single solutions will be invited for an interview, and we will provide feedback until the 1st of October. Okay? Please check the guideline for applicants. All the process is described there, and this is exactly what we will do. In terms of TRL and CE marking, so these were some of the major issues that we found on the first stage. So the TRL must be at least a TRL 7. And what we did is we clarified in the guideline for applicants what we understand the requirements for each TRL, and this was done based on the best practices of industry. And what we request from you is to clearly justify the claims in terms of readiness level. For CE marking, and this directly answers your solution, okay? The guideline for applicants as a link for the guidance documents from the Commission on software classification as a medical device. So if you follow that document and find out that your solution is not or is not intended to be used as a medical device, just go to the application form and make sure that you are that you clearly state your claims there. I can show you later both the guideline for applicants and the application form. There was someone. So we clearly request that you integrate with the COVID Sandbox. Okay, there are more detailed descriptions on the Sandbox and documents and so on. So please refer to them if you have any doubts. And just to end this part of the session, these were the three main issues that we found in the first open call. So the TRL was not in scope of the call. Some teams applied with solutions at a very low TRL, and we clearly could not fund them. And then the CE marking, UE marking, we were on a gray area on the first open call because the medical device regulation was not applicable yet, but now it is. So what we did in this call is we clarified the requirements in the guideline for applicants. We provided you links for the EU guidance documents, and both for TRL and for CE marking, we have one page for each where you should describe your solutions, and I will show you in a moment. In terms of integration with the COVID Sandbox, the major issue, or there were two issues here. Either it was not addressed, so teams did not say anything about the integration with the COVID Sandbox, or they the work plan foreseeing the integration with the COVID Sandbox to be achieved only in the end of the program, but we actually have specific goals for the first and second sprint. So in the end of the first sprint, the integration must be completed, and in the end of the second sprint, all the data must be validated. Okay, so when you go to the technical annex, please describe this thoroughly. Alberto, do you want to show your slides now, or should I just answer the questions showing the documents?
Yeah, we can go with the questions, and after that, if there is any question regarding the acceleration program, I will take over that.
Okay, so let me switch to a couple of documents. So this is the guideline.
Question related to the Sandbox.
Go ahead.
Because in the first call, we had like a single PDF file describing the Sandbox system, right? There was a diagram and so on. But is there any improvement in terms of how you want us to see the potential for integration with Sandbox? You know, it would be really useful to have like a set of APIs that we might use, but maybe to log into the Sandbox system. Is it something that you address in this open call?
Yeah, the full definition of the Sandbox and the APIs and so on are now available. Okay. By the end of the year, we will have federated mechanisms, but the full description of the APIs is already available.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. So in terms of TRL, if you go to section 3.3 of the guideline for applicants, we improved, or we extended the Commission definition, which is the column TRL level, and we added the industry definition for healthcare domains on what it is that each TRL level means. Okay, and because of the request from the Commission, and our goal is to help market-ready solutions to the final development and validation. So we must focus on solutions that are at least at TRL7. So go to these descriptions and make sure that you are aligned with this, and more than this, justify your claims. I can show you in the technical annex, okay, which is on this section 5 and 6. Okay, let's go back to, so here you must describe what is your understanding of the TRL of your solution and properly justify it, okay? So that we can agree or disagree with you in the assessment that you make. It's the ultimate importance that you shortly justify your claims here. And if we go to the CE marking, we are not inventing anything. Okay, so what we ask you to do is go to this document, Guidance on Classification of Software Regulation. This is a guidance document provided by the Commission, okay? And just follow this process to classify your software as being in the scope of the medical device regulation or not, okay? So again, look, if you want to claim that your solution is not in the scope of the medical device regulation, okay, and therefore does not need a CE mark, what you need to do is go to this section 5, okay, again, the link is here, properly describe the intended use of your product, and this will give us the most important information to agree or disagree again with your classification. And then based on the documents from the Commission, classify your solution. It can be classified as not in the scope of a medical device regulation, class 1, class 2, or class 2B. Okay, but if you say that your solution is not in the scope of the medical device regulation, what we ask you to do is follow the standard documents, let us know the intended use of the product, which is complementary to the rest of the sections that you have here on the document, where you describe the problem, the solution, the technology. So you don't need to rewrite it here because it's written above, but you do need to be quite specific on the intended use of the software, okay? And then describe here your classification. The second point for this is if you are in the scope of a medical device regulation, okay, what the regulation requires you to do is to have a quality management system. It does not need to be certified, but it does need to be in place. So the regulation defines a set of requirements for the quality management system. So just drop us a few lines describing how you manage the quality of your software development process and your product. Again, this is only applicable if you are in the scope of the medical device. And again, if you are in the scope, just let us know what is the status of your process in terms of acquiring CE or EU marking for your product. 10. Please be clear on the project activities and breakdowns. Here we have 2 pages. So you have to do a number of things. The program requires you to do a number of things. What we specifically ask you to be clear here is what is it that you are going to do to achieve the goals of integrating the COVID sandbox, when, which type of activities will be done. But please remember that this is only high-level plan, so you don't need to detail the tasks too much, just enough for us to assess if your work program is feasible or not, and if it meets our requirements. So I will go give the floor back to, I think it was Gianluca. You asked this question about CE marking. Does this answer your question, or from anyone else?
And my only doubt is that in the previous slide it was written the solution must have CE marking. So in the case after reading your document, I understood my solution, and I'm sure my solution will never be in the process of CE marking, because we provide information to support decision, not to do decision. Can we participate even if?
Yeah. So and even here on the document, we are bounded by the documents from the Commission, but we clarify this with the Commission. So we need to write must have CE marking, but only if it applies. So if you have a solution
Okay.
fighting COVID, but does not need to have CE marking, as long as you justify that, and of course it meets all the rest of the technological areas that we have listed here, okay? You need to be in either this first part, sampling, screening, or innovative data-driven services. We can consider it for funding.
Okay, thank you.
So, are there any other questions now? Should we give the floor to Alberto for? Alberto, do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to just follow the slides and you?
Yeah, you can follow the slides. So in terms of the services that we will be providing to the selected applicants, so the process is that you submit your proposal, we run the different evaluations during the open call period, and then if you are selected, you will be entered into the market acceleration program, which basically it provides 4 different, let's say, areas of support. The first one is the financial support that has been already, let's say, covered by Antonio. But we also have some technical business and pilot support, which are the 3 areas that you can see on the screen. And now going one by one, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so this is actually how this acceleration program looks like. We will have at the very beginning of the program, the onboarding process, which consists of identifying your needs and knowing more about you in order to somehow tailor-made the program to your needs, because we want to be sure that we are able to identify promising companies to be presented to the European Commission, and that can really, let's say, create or generate impact in the fight of against the COVID-19 pandemic. After this onboarding process, once we have known your needs and we know more about you, you will enter into the 3 different sprints, which have different objectives, and based on these objectives, we will proceed with the payments of the grant. Basically, in the first sprint, we will ask you to have the KPIs of the project, so some indicators that could help us in, let's say, monitoring and follow up your projects and identify that you are doing what you have said that you will do in the application. And then you will have 2 big objectives, which are the Sandbox integration and the ethical approval from your clinical partner, which is a mandatory milestone to be completed by all the applicants. Then during the second sprint, once you have received the approval of your first sprint, you will need to validate your data model, agree on the IP with your clinical partner, and let's say we will monitor as well the specific objectives from each of your projects. And finally, at the end of the program, and also supported by our business mentors during the whole acceleration program and all the services that you will receive, you will need to complete your feasibility study for your solution, and you will need to, of course, complete the specific objectives that you have set in the proposal and during the KPIs definition during the first sprint. Next slide, please. So in terms of support, we do have the business support that consists of different mentoring and individual sessions and general sessions in different business related topics. This will help you to, let's say, to speed up the process of bringing your innovation to the market. And based on these, let's say, different activities and the homework that you will be asked to do, we will also provide you a business roadmap at the end of the project, will consist of some guidelines and recommendations for your project once you have finalized the acceleration program. And you will also participate in different demo days and workshops during the whole period. Next slide, please. In terms of technical support, there will be 3 different technology courses that will be provided by Bosonit, which is an innovation and technology consultancy firm based in Spain, specialized in data emerging technologies. At the end of each of the courses, you can receive a certificate of attendance if you complete all the sessions with the experts. Then of course you will need, or you will need some trainings on Sandbox, and you will receive some support in terms of explanations and further description of the services of the Sandbox. So during the first part of the project, we will provide you with the tools to better or to achieve the integration with the Sandbox. And if you need, let's say, a specialized assistance, you can have one-to-one support sessions. Next slide, please. Regarding technical support, as mentioned, we will follow up all your process, and you will enter into a monitoring framework in which we will follow that you and that the relationship with you and your clinical partner is good enough to carry out the project. So what we want is to ensure that your project is being developed or is developed as planned. And so you will have dedicated mentoring in terms of, let's say, pilot mentors that will follow up your project. And that's it.
Question: these dates are for June, but we have July right now. So
yeah, so
it's not a bug.
Yeah, so these are the links of the recorded sessions.
This
okay,
is just
so we will receive a link for the recorded sessions. And,
exactly.
And having watched those sessions, we might apply for the certificate?
No. So these are other, let's say, webinars that we have made during this open call to clarify some things related to the technical part of the Sandbox and the clinical, or more explanation of the clinical partner. So if you watch these videos, you will receive more information about the technical aspects of the COVID Sandbox and more information about the clinical partners that are inside the consortium.
Yes, but you mentioned something about the certificate that we might receive after completing course.
Yeah, but these courses are once you have been accepted in the program, not during the open call.
Okay. Okay. So the links that you have here are for information purposes. Yes, we might get to know the clinical part of the program. We get to know the sandbox system. Yes.
Yeah. So in case you want to apply for a single solution and you identify a challenge that are proposed by one of our clinical partners, you can just you are able to know more about this clinical partner. In case you are applying as a team solution, you don't need to watch these videos. And I would recommend you to watch the technical one because it will provide you more information about the COVID sandbox that you can use it for when writing your proposal.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So next slide, please. And actually, this is a summary of the application process that has been already mentioned by Antonio. So you will have until the 22nd of June to submit your first stage application deadline. And you will have until if you are qualified in this stage, you will be invited to continue with your application with the second stage, and you will have until the 16th of September to submit your application.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
Hi, I have a stupid question because I kind of joined 5 minutes after I missed time. So in the last call, we had to submit everything at one go, right? In this current call, so while I am in the F6S, do I have to not submit there are 3 documentation, Annex, I think 1, 3, and 5, right?
Exactly.
So do I have to not submit all of them in the stage 1 or?
No, you need to submit them all. The major difference between this call and the other is that the technical annex, which is, let me go back to this is the proposal supplement. You just need to fill 10 pages, okay, describing your solution. Okay, these are in fact 7 areas. So you have to describe your problem, technology, impact, competition, and obstacles. And if you go to each section, you actually have the number of pages that you can use to describe your solution.
Yes.
Okay? So if, and you asked another question on the chat that I was going to answer after. So this is a 10-page template so that we can, let's say, do it's not a pre-screening, but it's because in a pre-screening, it's either a yes or no, but it's an initial score of all the proposals, okay? After this, we will select the 21 best proposals or best ranked proposals to move to the second stage, okay? And then in the second stage, you'll have a more detailed annex to fill where you need to provide more information, okay?
And that template is not yet provided, or is that the last bit of this document itself?
It's not yet provided.
Okay, okay, thank you. That's
okay.
Good.
For the first stage, it's here. We are just, it will be provided before the end of the call, but it will be similar to what you had in the first call. But in the first call, there were no page limits, and now there will be.
Okay, so whatever this annex is, this document is, we should fill up all of the 10 pages. And then this had some additional pages, which is, I think, ethics and things. Should we also fill up those things or not?
If yes, if you have any of these ethical issues, Okay. Then you need to state how you are going to address them. Okay.
Got it.
Again, in the first stage, you just need to provide high-level information. In the second stage, you need to be quite detailed on this.
Got
Okay?
it. There would be an additional questionnaire where you dig into ethics and provide more information. And I remember in the first stage, we actually showed the GDPR compliant documentation and everything. Right now, we don't have to do that. Understood. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. So any other questions? So if, I'm sorry, I'm getting, it's Blanca sharing information for all of you. So another key aspect that we ask you is be quite clear on these section 5 and 6. Okay, it's just one page, but these were some of the sections where there were major issues on the first call. Okay, and the purpose of having these specific questions is to help you succeed, because some of the solutions were interesting, okay, but they did not address these issues. So what we are asking you or helping you to do is uh, provide clearer questions so that you provide clearer answers and we can uh, assess better your solutions. So do you have any other questions for today?
Yes, I have sorry for coming back to this topic of CE marking, but
Okay.
is there any penalty for not having it? Like, is this something that we have to state whether we need the CE marking or not? But is there any like implication of this for the overall score that we might receive?
Yes, there is. Okay, so if you are in the scope of a medical device and you don't have the marking yet, means that you will be far away of the usage in a clinical environment. Okay, but this again, for considering emergency uses and so on, if you don't have your CE marking achieved by now, but you are in the process, you may be considered. For example, that's why it is important for us to know if you have a quality management system. You may not have CE marking yet, but if you already have the quality management system inside your company, you are closer to achieving CE marking than not having a quality management system whatsoever, because then you will have much more work to do before you can apply to the CE marking or UE marking in a notified body. Okay.
Okay, so but yeah, but the way I understand this is you like compare the one within the projects that need the CE marking, you compare the ones that already have it and those that are in the process, yes? And those
Exactly.
that are in the process will receive a lower score because yeah, they're still in the process of receiving this CE mark. Yes?
Exactly.
Like,
Yes.
but what about this second branch, projects that do not need CE marking at all? Because we might justify this that we do not need this marking. Do we get some lower score because of this?
No, it means that you are closer to the market, so you don't get a lower score.
Okay.
So if you don't need CE marking, we will not penalize you for not having one.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that's exactly what I needed to get.
But please be clear, if you want to, if you think you don't need it, that's critical for us that you fill this section properly. Okay, go to these guidance documents, okay, and clearly justify what or state the intended use of your product, and then justify why you think you are not in the scope of the medical device regulation. But there is a major difference between the medical device directive and medical device regulation. Now it's almost, let's not put it so bluntly, a lot, the scope of the medical device regulation includes much more software products in the scope of the directive, in the scope of the regulation, when compared to the previous legislation, the medical device directive. Okay, but they have done a great job in the guidance documents, so that you can find guidance documents for pretty much every product that can be qualified as a medical device. So, for example, you have guidance if your product uses both software and hardware, what is it that should be considered in terms of quality management, in terms of integration procedures, testing, and so on. So all the documents are available. We will not invent anything. We will just follow the guidance documents. So please be clear, visit them, be clear about them, and we will follow exactly those documents. Does this answer your question?
Yes, yes, thank you very much.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, we invite you to the next webinar next week, Tuesday, 12 p.m. and reach out.
13th.
13. Reach out to us if you need any further clarification. We are here to help you. Roberto, do you have any other things
Like
to
maybe,
add?
is there any possibility to see an exemplary filled form for
Oh, no, it's not possible. Sorry for that.
Okay. Yeah, then we would see what is the shape of the document that you expect from us.
Yeah, the shape of the document is exactly this. So everything that we are asking is in these gray lines. So just delete this and answer to these questions.
Okay.
We try to ease your burden and to be as clear as possible in the questions and what we expect to see in the answers. Okay, so thank you all for joining. Reach out if you need any further clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.